So what is showing signs of an uptrend today? What's going on, team? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. Tech stocks are absolutely getting destroyed. I actually uploaded a video on Friday and all of last week, keeping you guys up to date with what's going on in Russia and Ukraine, and also with the Feds talking about raising interest rates. This is something that I specifically spoke about on Friday, that this week, this actual week, the Feds, for the first time since 2018, if I'm not mistaken, are set to increase interest rates 0.25%. A lot of you guys were saying that, well, isn't this factored into the market? Yes, I 100% agree. But just like anything, there's already set expectations, but when it actually gets put into fruition, the market just always overreacts. And this is kind of what we're seeing as of right now. So what I wanted to talk about is, of course, not just the negative influence that the overall market is experiencing today. We could see the lower lows, lower highs. I mean, we didn't start off that bad. We actually almost started off or went into the green, right? But then we quickly got rejected, began to make lower lows and lower highs. And I thought that I would take this time to talk about, the areas in which we can make money, right? And I'm not just going to talk about the specific inverse ETFs that we all know about, right? SQQQ, we talked about this today within our Learn Plan Profit live trading session. So the market was kind of choppy, direction was unclear. And I actually want to give a huge shout out to one of our traders, David. David had a position in SQQQ. He was considering cutting losses because things were going south. I was like, well, hold on there, because although we're bullish in the overall market, I didn't want him to cut losses at the first sight of a reversal. And what it ended up doing was it found support, it did a double bottom. We know that the past 2 months, if they've taught us anything, is that the market has been more bearish than it has been bullish the past 2 months. So this is why it would have not surprised me that the market would have actually pulled on back. And fortunately for him, it did. And you can see that it began to really take off. So from overall lows on SQQQ to current highs, that's 7.6%. Absolutely insane. Let's say that you're not into the NASDAQ market. Maybe you're more into the S&P 500. Then this one is also up 1.8%. Or from overall lows of when this reversal ended up happening, that is 5% on the day. Now, the only market that's slightly in the green right now, but it's kind of pulling back, is the Dow Jones. This is the inverse ETF. If you guys didn't catch the correlation, these are 3 inverse ETFs based off of the 3 largest major markets in the United States. But what about oil, right? We talked about oil prices, how they were all shooting up. I made an oil watch list. A lot of you guys loved it. What's happening right now? Well, oil prices, or just oil price per barrel, are beginning to pull back. Rightfully so, right? What have we said every single time? A reaction in the market tends to always be an overreaction. That's simple, right? So if you're asking yourself the question, what can I potentially make money in right now? Well, what's happening right now? Oil stocks and ETFs are dropping. They pushed up exponentially within a very short period of time. Now, the hype is no longer there, just like a pump and dump, and just like when a stock reports earnings. It shoots up for a short period of time, it peaks, and then when things begin to settle down, it corrects itself. And that's what we're experiencing today, right? 7.9% is what this oil, one of the largest oil stocks that's publicly traded, is what it dropped today. The United States Oil Fund, down nearly 5%. I mean, it was down more than 5%. Now it's somewhat recovering. But again, I want you guys to be aware of this. So if the oil markets continue to drop, what goes up? When the oil markets go down? This was actually shared by one of our Learn Plan Profit members. So a huge thanks to him. This is SCO. This is the inverse ETF of UCO. So when oil markets begin to drop, again, this video is not to encourage you to trade any of this, but these videos that I upload are to make you aware of what's readily available, right? If oil begins to drop, SCO will begin to push up. It's good to understand that correlation. So if you're tired of being in these tech stocks because those are your long-term investments and you simply want something to day trade and you see that oil is consistently pulling back, as we should be seeing for the next couple of days as it begins to correct itself, then this is a potential outlet. Again, this is not an encouragement. You need to understand that at still some form of way, it comes at some form of risk, right? If they begin to announce that, hey, what's happening with current supply levels of oil is going to take longer than expected, the Iran deal and Venezuela deal isn't going to go through, then again, oil is going to skyrocket. The great thing about this is that you can simply have an outlet of knowing what goes up when oil markets go down. I thought that would be somewhat useful, especially for our beginner traders. So I hope that you guys agree, and I hope that I earned your thumbs up in today's video. So again, NASDAQ market, overall tech, getting ready for really just bracing for this interest rate hike that we're going to be expecting this week. When it comes down to the oil markets, finally they are correcting themselves. The only other thing that I quickly want to talk about is there are banking institutions, JP Morgan, Chase. If you guys look at these on the day chart, they're sorry, not the day chart, on the 4-hour chart, you can see that they're almost beginning to trying to establish a support level and then begin to indicate signs of a reversal. They're just on watch territory, meaning that it's worth paying attention to them. So if they do begin to recover, this would be a really nice setup, right? This is for Bank of America, but you can look into any banking institution that you prefer. There's JP Morgan, there's Goldman Sachs. What's the other one? There's American Express, right? There's so many out there. They are oversold. They are cheap right now. Something to take into consideration. Another sector, I was going to make a completely separate video on this. You guys can let me know down in the comment section, are airlines. Airlines are super, super cheap right now. Why? Well, again, if gas prices are super expensive, what do, jets run on, right? Gas, right? Or jet fuel. With that being said, as things began to kind of chill out with that, and as COVID restrictions begin to be completely lifted, I think towards the end of this month, hopefully airlines can finally see more demand, right? Right now, American Airlines is cheap. American Airlines and a lot of these other airlines are not necessarily a sector where you're going to make money right now. And that's kind of the question that I wanted to leave you with, right? It's a rhetorical question, a question that you could answer yourself. When asking yourself, what positions do I want to jump into to make money now? And what investments do I want to jump into to make money later down the road? Asking yourself, do you see airlines recovering in the near future, right? So if we were to take American Airlines into consideration, and if it were to recover, not to all-time highs, but just to previous highs, right around $17, $18, that's over 25% growth. That simple, right? This is the conversation that I like to have with you, so you are aware of what's oversold, and it's not that they have to recover right away because things can get worse, but at least being aware of it. So if you set an alert, if you add it to your watch list, then you can follow up with it when it makes the most sense. I just want you to be aware of these potential opportunities so you don't end up looking back later and be like, dang it, that actually would have been a good investment, right? There's nothing wrong with taking your day trades to make money now on whatever's bullish today, but also I think it's in your best interest, or in our future self's best interest, to look out for positions that aren't necessarily making money right now, but that are good quality companies that we can see those markets potentially recovering in the near future. American Airlines is one of those companies for me. So I'm very excited to follow up. I can make a completely new watch list for that and break down exactly how I would choose to trade it. But that's on you. You guys can comment down below and we'll leave it at that. So again, we had a very interesting live trading session today with the Learn Plan Profit Group. Due to the daylight savings, I actually go live every morning with my baby girl, Remy, and she's my newborn. And during the live stream today, she was just crying because I guess she wasn't adjusted. I wasn't adjusted. I don't know about you, but this daylight savings, we lost an hour of sleep, and she was definitely feeling it more than myself and more than most people in that live trading session. So I would love to have you for tomorrow's live trading session whenever you're ready. If you want to be able to watch me trade live every day, if you want to surround yourself with this type of environment, then take 1 minute, click the second link down below, learn a little bit more about it, and see if the Learn Plan Profit 2.0 team is a good fit for you. So I hope that I earned your thumbs up. Please consider subscribing, and like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.